The third session of today is titled Green City and Smart Growth, Sustainable Development Through Technology. In this session, each speaker will give us a short presentation before we proceed to the panel discussion. Now, please welcome our first speaker, Mr. Stephen Yeung, Head of Sales and Operation and Business Development of Shell Hong Kong. Mr. Yeung, please.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you guys had a good lunch. Esteemed guests and honorary speakers, thank you for joining today's conference. My name is Stephen, and I'm very excited today to give a brief presentation on what we can offer to build a greener and more sustainable Hong Kong. I don't know if anybody knows, this year marks our 112th year that Shell is operating in Hong Kong. So over the last century, we have grown and evolved together with this vibrant city. And today, with urbanization, climate change, and resource constraint that reshapes our world, we believe that innovative, technology-based solutions are key to drive sustainable growth for cities. And for sustainable mobility is one of the key elements of any green cities. And obviously, EV is one of the key components of it. And with Hong Kong having one of the fastest adoption rate in the world, Shell, to facilitate this transition, back in 2021, we have launched our Shell Recharge Network. And since then, it has become one of the largest universal public charging network in Hong Kong, boosting over 650 charging points across 65 locations. And recently, we have launched our B2B focused EV charging solutions, helping commercial fleet owners to transition the conventional fleet into electrical fleet more easily, all in our continuous effort to provide the best-in-class charging services and experience for all EV drivers in Hong Kong. So beside EV, Shell is also the first company to introduce renewable diesel into this market back in 2023. Renewable diesel, or if you heard in some other terms, HVO, is actually the second generation biofuels that can be used completely as a drop-in fuel, meaning that you don't have to modify your machineries or engine to use this fuel. And when this fuel is created by using waste-based materials such as used cooking oils, you can reduce the well-to-wheel carbon emission by up to 90%, making this fuel a very good green fuel options for applications such as heavy-duty industry, constructions, or even heavy-duty vehicles, where electrification is hard to implement, or even in scenarios where CAPEX availability is limited to purchase lower emission equipments. So I covered the land and some of the industrial use, but what about air? So for air travels, we know that SAF is one of the most viable options to decarbonize these segments. But the issue with SAF today, aside from its higher cost, is that its supply and production tends to be limited in certain locations, where the demand of SAF is more spread out across the globe. So there is a mismatch geographically on the supply and demand side. So to bridge this situation, Shell has worked with our partners to create Avelia, which is a blockchain-powered book and claim platform that allows easy access to SAF and also be able to retain its environmental benefits. So simply put, for corporate travels, if you use Avelia, you'll be able to travel using SAF, even and also claim its environmental benefits, even though your actual flight may not be using SAF, but the Avelia platform ensures you that the exact amount of SAF is being used elsewhere. So we hope by bridging the supply and demand side closer together, we'll be able to facilitate the adoption of SAF and in turn provide a greener aviation for Hong Kong. But besides sustainable mobility, we also recognize with the recent emergence of AIs and digitizations, data centers are also becoming increasingly critical, and also at the same time becoming more and more energy intensive, particularly when it comes to cooling. To address this problem, we have developed our Immersion cooling fluid, which is an integrated cooling solution for data centers where we submerge servers into specifically engineered cooling fluid, which then in turn can reduce energy consumed with cooling by up to 48% in a way to provide a greener digital infrastructure. My colleague Yolanda will be able to share more about this innovative solution in her upcoming panel discussions. And sustainable cities require sustainable businesses. And Shell, we are also committed to our group target of becoming a net zero company by 2050. And with that, we have already started looking at ways to reduce our energy consumption in our operations and also to increase our uptake on renewable energy sources, such as solar panels, such as solar, which we have built our solar panels in all our Qingyi depot and is looking for ways to install more in other facilities whenever it's possible. So, in short, I hope you see that as the demand for sustainable development increases, Shell is just more than a fuel supplier. Although we are very excited to be part of this journey, it is also very important to recognize that we are only a piece of the puzzle for the whole, in this whole problem. Real progress requires collaborations with key stakeholders like government, organizations like BEC, solution providers, and of course, the users, our customers. And only that, by working together, by combining visions, policies, innovative solutions, and actions together, we can achieve what we set out to achieve in the very first beginning, which is a greener, more sustainable Hong Kong for futures to come, for future generations to come. That concludes my presentation today. Thank you for your time. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you, Mr. Yeung. Please be seated. Next, please welcome Mr. Anthony Yeung, Senior Staff Scientist of China Everbright Green Technology Innovation Research Institute. Mr. Yeung, please.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. It's Anthony from China Everbright. So I'm so excited that I can share what China Everbright environment have do on the green shipping. Sorry. First one is about the IMO emission target. The GSG strategy for 2018, the goal is include at least 40% improve in carbon intensity by 2030 and 70% by 2050. So when come to the GHG strategy to 2023, it's become more aggressive. Especially, it's also set a goal for 5 to 10% of marine fuels to be zero GHG by 2030. So the global impact is that IMO's regulations apply to all large ships globally, driving innovation in ship design and operation. And also combined with the capacity building program, this measure set the industry on a pathway to meet the ambitions 2030 to 2050 emission targets. The second one is about the Singapore project, because last 2 or 3 years I was focused on Singapore green port projects. So MPA, the Maritime Port Authority of Singapore, was the Singapore government who pushed the green port. They have plugged for port operations ship to reach net zero emission by 2050. And the goal included 60 reduction in port operation emission by 2030. And the more important is that from 2030, all new hovercraft must be full electric or use 100% biofuel or other net zero fuels. And also, MPA offers some financial support for their projects. It's called the MSGI, Maritime Singapore Green Initiative. It was launched in 2011 with 100 million Singapore dollars. And in 2024, actually, with the upgrade with an additional 50 millions. And it's now comprised 5 programs, including the green ship, green port infrastructure, green port, green craft, green energy, and green awareness. So actually, this push all the ship companies and the port operator to adopt the clear fuels, efficient technology, and substantial practice. And also, MPA do a lot for their green port. They alternated the fuel infrastructure. They established the LNG bunker in 2017. And I remember it's in 2023, they have already issued an EOI, expression of interest, for the ammonia and the green methanol bunker to support the future green ship. And also, MPA really focus on the safety and trainings. So when I'm doing the project for MPA, they always ask me about the training programs and also some safety issues they concern. And in 2023 and 2024, they also issue EOI for the full electrical hovercraft and the electrical petrol craft. And for the electrical hovercraft, we submit our proposal, and it was also accepted by the MPA. Now they have 7 suppliers can offer this kind of ship. The ship is not very large. It's about 20 meters. But in Singapore, there are over 1,000 such ships in Singapore. So after 2030, they hope all the new built electrical hovercraft are all electric. And for the electrical petrol craft is used for the place. So the speed is extremely high. It's around 20 knot. So we use the high speed mode for this proposal. And also in 2024, they also launched for the first electrical hovercraft charging port. But MPA always tell me that they have not enough electricity in Singapore. And here is the attendance in the vessel electrifications. So first is about the building electric ship. Actually, in China, last 5 years, the electric ship was rapidly growth due to China have a well-established supply chain for the lithium batteries. So now China has built the world's largest full electrical cargo ship. So this one is built from 2024, and it's around 700 TEU. It's all electric container vessel. It's over 100 meter, and it have a lot of battery bank inside it. 10 container lithium battery units. Each one is around 2,000 kW. So total is around 2 MW. It can sweep batteries at the port. So this one is operate on the Yangtze River, and they have 4 charging points for it for sweep the batteries. And each switch time is around 1 hour for 10 containers. And also second part is the government support and the regulation. So a lot of China's government have offered support for the industry to switch to the electrical part. For example, Shanghai have already have the fund provide for cover the electric ship owner for the assistance. And the Yangtze River also have some protection law to require all the ship must use the shore power. And the last part is actually about the port upgrade. So most China's big ports are installed the OPS on dock. And this one is very important because in Singapore, they do not have such enough electricity there. So if you want let all the industry or the ship owner change to the electrical boat, actually you need to have such port upgrade. You need to have enough power supply for it. So last part is about Hong Kong's green marine hub. Actually, I think for Hong Kong, based on my experience in Singapore, we need to have a clear emission target. For example, we can commit the peak port and the ship emission before 2030 and reach net zero by 2050. So this will align with the IMO and China nation dual carbon timeline. The second part is some support. No matter in China or in Singapore, the government always gives some support for the ship owner that they will more willing to change their boat from the traditional diesel to the electrical boat. The third part is about the power. The power actually is the pinpoint if we want to change to electric. So Hong Kong, I think, must show that the shore power is already and develop enough charge point for the electrical ferries or the hovercraft. The last part is about the facility green fuels. Although some of the vessel or craft may change to electric, but also we need to have the bunkers for the green biofuels or the green ammonia, green methanol. The bunker is very important. And Singapore have already started to build the bunker for ammonia. And I think only established robotics, and also we need to focus on the safety standards and the trainings. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Yeung. Please be seated. Now, may I invite Mr. Ivan Choi, Vice President of Belt and Road Strategy of ITQ Limited. Mr. Choi, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ivan from ITQ Limited. ITQ Limited is a Hong Kong-based technology startup, and it's really truly honors I'm here, can be invited here to share more about our company and our development. ITQ Limited, actually we are the research team from City University of Hong Kong, and we successfully to put our research into a commercial product. And what we are providing is electricity-free cooling technologies. By applying our materials, we can highly reduce the energy consumption from the AC system. For example, because at first we are investigating in those construction materials, but after that we have extended our line in more materials, not only focus on the architecture industries. So, for example, from architecture industry, our new materials can reduce the indoor temperature up to 10 degrees Celsius. Without using any AC system. So actually, the mechanism behind is all in this diagram. Our scientists actually learn from the nature. In Sahara Desert, there is a silver ant. This silver ant can survive extremely hot weather. In desert, it's about 70 degrees Celsius. But this silver ant itself can do the self-cooling. It's 30 degrees Celsius. So our scientist is very curious if we can learn the optical theory and apply the optical theory into different materials that can help us to deal with the heat island effect. So we started to study this ant and study the optical theory. We successfully to apply the same optical theory to our different material. For example, our exterior wall painting, R2 coating, and our window film, R2 film. We are using the nanoparticle technologies. Actually, we are making different nanoparticle technologies that have the same optical theory like this ant. And then we add this nanoparticle into the paint and into the film. In general, what is the unique point about our products and comparing with those in the marketing high reflective products? For those high reflective paint or for those high reflective film, actually the mechanism behind is about the high solar reflectivities. Normally, they can achieve about 80%. And we boost the solar reflectivity. We boost to 95%. So in the traditional comparison, we have a better isolation of the heat. But why we can achieve a sub-ambient temperature? It's on the right-hand side. We call it middle infrared. Middle infrared is a specific wavelength that can penetrate the atmosphere window. That means we can use this point to do the heat exchange with the universe. So with a very high emissivity of middle infrared, we can dissipate the heat at an extremely fast speed and also in a large amount, and combine the high solar reflectivities and high middle infrared emissivities. We can achieve sub-ambient temperature in some of the projects. And most of our projects can reduce the indoor temperature within like 3 to 5 degrees Celsius without turning on any AC system. Of course, like we have a very strong academic background, and we want to contribute back our technology to the society. And not only in Hong Kong, because we are Hong Kong-based technology companies, we want to like share our technology to the global. So that's why we go to the global very fast. In these 2 years, we penetrate the global market, and meanwhile, we also got a lot of green cert, including Hong Kong, mainland China, in the Europe, in the Middle East, and also in Singapore. Singapore Green Building Product Certificate is one of very difficult to get certificates, and as well as the CIC one. And our technology also have featured on a very famous scientific journal, Science, and also our company is sponsored by the RACE program. So you can see that at first we are doing the construction materials, but later of that, we try to add the nanoparticle in different materials. So in this year, we have our membranes, have our ceramic, also have the textile, and also can apply to the automobiles, not limited to the buildings. Here is one of our global mind map. So you can see that actually we try to put our business near the equator. The hotter the climate zone, actually our product have a better performance, especially the passive radiative cooling, do not use any energies. So in Hong Kong, we have done a very good job in last year. We have secured the project in Hong Kong Coliseum, one of the landmarks in Hong Kong, and we aim to have Hong Kong Coliseum to reduce about 300,000 kilowatt-hour per year. And in the global mind map, you can see that in Middle East, we also have secured a very good project. It's the Dubai Mall. Dubai Mall, the rooftop is about 24 standard football field. It's very big. And then we will try to do the project in different phases. And so far, if you go to the GPS and you search Google Map Dubai Mall, you can see some of the rooftop is in the white paint. Actually, it's our first phase project. And we also aim to help the Dubai Mall to cut about 15% of the energy saving from the AC system. So you can see that not only in the buildings, you can see a lot of like chemical tank, container, and also some new energy. So we also can apply our technologies to the chemical industries, logistic industries, and also those like automobile industries. And here is some recognition about our company in the last 2 years. And we also have introduced our technology to different leaders in the COP28. As mentioned, actually the goal or the main goal of RDQ Limited, we want to contribute back to the societies. And we also want more people to enjoy it. It's not only B2B, we want to do B2C also. So this year, that's why we have investigating the iTextile, the clothing, because we want everyone can enjoy these technologies, not only in the buildings. And besides of that, we are trying to like put our technologies into different large scale, maybe in a city scale, because there are two things. The first thing, we want to help those leaders, and the other thing, because large-scale application can help with our research paper. So, for example, in Hong Kong, in some Shui-Po, we have done a quite big project. We help the underprivileged who live in the subdivided flat. We help them to refree the product, and we also find all the volunteers to help them to paint the rooftop and also stick our like window film. And then the record is quite good. For example, they can reduce their cost from the electricity bill about 100 Hong Kong dollars for each month. Although it's not a very big amount, but we help them to improve their thermal comfort and also help them to reduce some financial burden. Maybe they can buy the daily necessity after reducing the electricity from their AC system. So actually, we have done a lot of CSR events, not only in mainland, also in Greater Bay Area, and also maybe in those like India. And for here is some data record. The carbon emission we have saved a lot, and here are a lot of numbers. I give a more obvious feeling about it. 300,000 of trees, that means about 10 of our Kowloon Park. We have already contributed like 10 of Kowloon Park. So we hopefully in this year we can do more because we also have signed a UN project. We'll try to put these materials in those like for those refugees. So we hope our technologies can go more to go beyond Hong Kong, and eventually the global can enjoy these technologies and to deal with the heat island effect. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Choi, and please be seated. Now, please welcome Mr. Owen Wong, Assistant Vice President, Mobile Product and Solution Development of HKT. Mr. Wong, please.
So good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for invitation. I'm coming from Hong Kong Telecom, leading fixed line mobile operator in Hong Kong. So today I would like to share the sustainable development full technology riding on mobile network and IoT. So because I'm coming from the commercial group, so in recent years there are lots of the corporate customer asking us about the IoT solutions. And also they want a very big screen, like this one, called Intelligent Operating Center, to manage all their IoT parameters and also all the parameters coming from EV charging, smart property, that kind of things. So why they, most of the customers coming from 3 areas. The first one is coming from 4S. As you know, there are lots of accidents in the construction site in these 2 or 3 years. So I think 2 years ago, government had announced a 4S system. That means in each construction site, you need to have nearly 10 things. First is to monitor some the people, and the second is monitor things. So there are a lot of the requests coming from the construction sites. Second is there are lots of the typhoons in these several years to go to Hong Kong. So there's a lot of water leakage in a lot of buildings. I don't know if you know that if an elevator, if there's water leakage, it costs about 700,000 to repair it. So that's why we get a lot of requests from the commercial building to install a lot of water leakage sensor in there. Third, there are also a lot of the commercial buildings ask because they want to get LEED or WELL certificate, the LEED or WEL. I think Swire will know it very well. So that's why they want to install a lot of the IoT sensor so that they can put some more marking on this one. So that's why in these several years, we get a lot of this kind of the requests, so we deploy a lot of the IoT projects for them. So I just take 2 examples that we have employed to our customer. The first one is about the property, and you can see that our offering is talking about IoT platform. Just like many systems, there's an input, output, and central and analytics in there. So that's why we provide a lot of the temperature sensor, IAQ sensor, water leakage sensor to more than 200 commercial buildings in Hong Kong, so that the facility management of them can monitor all their things and then to get the alert. Also, we have get a lot of requests from the retail. Actually, they have a lot of the food in their chillers and refrigerators. They need to monitor their food quality in them, so that's why they need a lot of temperature sensors to monitor them. We have more than 500 shops in there to monitor, to install these kind of things to help the retail industry to monitor their things in their chiller and refrigerators. And other than the traditional IoT sensor, there are lots more and more advanced IoT sensors. I think the first one you can see at the booth in outside, there's sonic filtering, and then we have also partnered with them. And also there's some new sensor talking about to monitor the current cable, because they say if the iron just in the normal current cable, the iron will be randomly distributed, and the heat will be emitted a lot. But if there's tools can regulate all the ions in the cable, then the heat will be reduced. So that's why we have also partnered with them to integrate in our IoT platform to provide to our customer. Last but not least, actually, Hong Kong is not only a fixed line and mobile operator, we are also a SI. So we have provided a lot of the connectivity, starting from LoRa, Wi-Fi, MPLT, and 5G and 5.5G. Because the point is, if you understand the IoT system, if you're not connected, then there's a lot of parameters cannot be passed to the system to do the and others. That's why we provide a lot of the connectivity in different environments to our corporate customer, to our every industry in Hong Kong. And I want to share one more new things coming. Actually, in previous line, you can see there is active IoT. If you understand what is active IoT, they need the battery or use the AC plug to get the power. But in coming, there's some passive IoT. What is passive IoT? There's no battery there, no AC is needed, but there are also chips there. Then how can they work? So mobile network, starting on 5.5G, we have a technology that using the radio signal to give the energy to the passive IoT, so that the passive IoT can be implemented everywhere. There's no need to do to provide the electricity. But once they are working, we can use the 5.5G radio signal to activate them. So that's very good for the coming IoT system. So I believe that IoT can help to collect the parameter for the system to control the power using in the building so as to save more energy. So that's all my presentation today. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mr. Wong, and please be seated. Before we start our panel discussion, as a reminder, online participants are welcome to use the Q&A box if they have any questions for our speakers. And for the audience in the room, if you have any questions for our panelists, please feel free to raise your hands and our colleagues will pass you the mic. Now, please welcome our moderator of this session, Ms. Priscilla Lin, Sustainability and Strategy Manager of Schneider Electric Hong Kong Limited. Let's also invite our panelists to join us on stage for the panel discussion. They are Mr. Anthony Yeung, Mr. Ivan Choi, Mr. Owen Wong, and last but not least, representing Shell, we will have Ms. Yolanda Chen, Immersion Cooling Fluids Business Lead of Shell China.
Hi everyone, my name is Priscilla from Schneider Electric Hong Kong. I want to thank BEC for the invitation. Today the theme of this panel is on Green City. Earlier on you listened to esteemed panelists talking about how the solution contribute to Green City. And for us, for Schneider Electric Hong Kong, we are a leading company on energy management and industrial automation. And we operate in areas like buildings, data center, industry, and infrastructure. We also do e-mobility as well. So I hope today the conversation, we will learn from different experts in the field to understand how we can accelerate on different green tech solutions applied to Hong Kong and beyond. But first of all, I want to invite our guest speakers, panelists, to share a little bit of your background and how your work contributes to Green City, because I know you have a very broad scope. Anthony, go first.
Hello, it's Anthony from China Everbright Environment. Actually, my background is material science, but recently I was focused on the electricity hovercraft, and I was focused on the lithium batteries. and also lithium battery, solar, something like this. So nowadays, even in Hong Kong, I think we need to have a roadmap for the green port. So thank you.
Hello, everyone. It's a great honor to be here. I'm Yolanda. I'm currently leading the immersion cooling business development for Shell. So basically, Shell have been working on the immersion cooling fluid for more than 5 years above. We have several POC projects globally. So for Shell itself, we are focused a lot on sustainability, and we truly believe immersion cooling will be the future changer for our data center.
Good afternoon, I'm Owen Wong, coming from Hong Kong Telecom Commercial Group. I'm responsible for the product development and consultancy. So in these 3 years, we are providing a lot of the solution related to ESG. Yeah.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ivan from Article Limit. Actually, my study is like in environmental engineering. I joined this Article Limit because the co-founder is my professor, and find it's meaningful. So I joined this company to try to put our Hong Kong technology to beyond Hong Kong to different cities. So I have been in this company like 2 years. So my role mainly related to the business development in the Belt and Road strategies. So I will find the ping pong for those cities or countries in Middle East and ASEAN, and see which our product can integrate with them. And so far, we have done a lot of POC in overseas. It's more than 200.
Thank you, everyone. So when it comes to green city, where do we start? Upcoming in Hong Kong, we are going to update the climate action plan, for the upcoming year. So when it comes to energy, buildings definitely play a big part globally for 40%, and in Hong Kong, it takes 90% of the energy. So building decarbonization play a major role in it. I have a question for you, Owen. When it comes to building decarbonization, we understand by 2030, we will see triple number of IoT devices in buildings compared to 2020. And as an expert in the field on IoT devices, and you just have your example in different types of buildings, how do you see connectivity and smart building can contribute to the green city? And what are some enabler and roadblock in your experience?
I think maybe I share in these 2 points. First one, we think that if the IoT system is for the citywide, I think Hong Kong people must get the advantage for it. So we think, how can we do it? Actually, other than the private sector, we also provide a lot of the IoT solution for the public. So I think, first of all, we are thinking about PPI, public-private interface. That means, is it possible to connect all our sensors in our private buildings to the government buildings? Just take an example. I think many people drive the car, right? Right now, if you drive EV car, you need to find a place to park and also to see where is the EV charger. I think from the share, I think you understand what I mean. But right now, you take a lot of application to search it. So if possible, there's because right now we have implemented a lot of occupancy sensor and also parking system in many commercial buildings. So that means they get a lot of data on it. And also the API there. So if there's a PPI, for example, from government and from the private, they can connect together. Then in future, maybe we just take government apps and then to take all the whole picture for the EV charging, parking system, that kind of things from the apps, and this very good for the Hong Kong people. Yeah. So this is one of this. Yeah. And then what's the push effect? The more private landlord can build more IoT sensor or to do to reduce the power saving. I just take EV again. If you understand, nowadays when you build a new building, if you have a parking with EV charging, then there's some discount on your the building area in your car park. That is, you can get a benefit on it. So I just think about if a building can get a lot of IoT sensor to reduce power, government can do something on the saving of their, when they calculate their construction area. Yeah, that's another point, yeah.
Thank you, Owen. When it comes to building, we understand there's different building type. And among buildings, data center is a huge energy consumer. In an urban space like Hong Kong, when space and cooling come at a premium, from your experience, working in other locations, how do you see how we can scale up on data center sustainability through your technology?
Yeah, so basically we understand that data center is highly energy intensive, and from all the energies, at least 35% is coming from the cooling system. So the traditional air cooling has a poor performance in terms of the heat dissipation and also a much higher energy consumption, especially for Hong Kong. And immersion cooling is a relatively new technology, which is basically to fully immerse your surface into the fluids. And the fluid itself, they will absorb the heat from the surface and then pass the heat to the heat exchanger. Then the chilled fluid will come back to the surface again for this whole cycle, whole ecosystem to help you to complete the heat dissipation. It has several advantages. First is the PUE, the power usage efficiency. It can be reduced significantly. The PUE of traditional air cooling is like at 1.4 to 1.5. But if we are using the immersion cooling, the PUE can be reduced to less than 1.15. And secondly is the space. So the land is super expensive in Hong Kong. So if under the same computing power, the immersion cooling technology, the space can be reduced, can only occupy around 20% of the space of the air cooling, and it's very suitable for the edge computing as well because of the easy deployment. And the third one is about the operation stability of the IT equipment. Because Hong Kong is coastal, so the air contains higher amounts of the salt. It will corrode the IT equipment and increase the failure rates. With the server to be fully immersed in the fluid, it can help isolate the server itself from the external environment, such as dust, air. It can help to keep a more stable operation and also extend the server's life from 5 to at least 8 years. So speaking of the challenges, immersion cooling technology is still relatively young, and the customer may lack of the experience of operation, maintenance, and they also lack of the knowledge, understandings of the technology itself. So we are still developing the pilot projects globally to have a live demonstration for our customer. We also develop a total package of end-to-end solutions, even with the maintenance equipment to help our customer to have easier deployment. So we very much hope to join hands with our industrial partners. Together to promote our immersion cooling and help on the green development of our data center.
Thank you, Yolanda. We also do immersion cooling. We're open to partner as well. And so in terms of mitigation, we hear about different technology on IoT, on data center sustainability. I want to shift a little bit perspective to climate adaptation. We talk about mitigation, right? Because according to IPCC, currently we are still not on track, and there's a high chance we're going to reach 1.5 by 2030s. So we need to really think about how, as a city, we are going to adopt to the extreme climate weather. On this part, I want to invite Ivan to share a little bit on I2Cool.
Okay.
As a startup, you talk about early on, you operate in not just in Hong Kong, but you are going to work in 20 plus countries and cities. How do you see ways to accelerate, to scale up your solution? Maybe it's government funding, any incentive, please share, or any roadblock along your journey as well.
Okay, thank you so much. There are actually a lot to share because it really goes for a lot of challenges for we do the global scale expansion. So we have one goal. We have one goal we want to, as mentioned, IPCC is limit global warming within 1.5 degrees. It's also the goal of Article limit. Actually, because if our painting or our materials can apply in a cityscape, actually, we can deal with the heat ion effect. For example, Hong Kong Coliseum, or for example, the scale like Hong Kong Coliseum, if a large-scale application, actually, we looking for the research is we reduce the ambient temperature. Here is also the thing just like Hong Kong, Singapore government is also looking for this thing because they have the policy, very specific policy. Their public housing, before 2030, they will apply those high reflective paint to reduce the ambient temperature. So back to the question, like we do the global scale, how or what we want to do, how we can achieve it. First of all, it's like for our product, it's like we need to large application of the large application. So first, the quantity. The market penetration is the most important things. Of course, we have done a lot of like go different countries to do the pitching, go different countries to draw the competition, to secure different government funding. We achieve it. But the most important thing is like we need to find the right channel, or I would like to say find the right ping pong. Or we also need to do the adjustment when we're doing the globalization. For example, our painting in Middle East and in Japan and in ASEAN, actually different formula. For Middle East, they're looking for dustproof. So our research team will do the dustproof for them. For Hong Kong, actually we are very humid, so we need to have better water resistance. So in Japan and Hong Kong, actually our paint formula will have better water resistance. That's how to do the global scale. So the first thing is like the product optimization is very important when you do the localization in different countries. The second thing is like, because at first, actually we also is learn from the experience, learn from our different clients. Actually, when the research product go to the commercial role, have a lot of conditions we haven't thought before. We think our product is very good, reduce the temperature without using AC system. So actually the whole city paint it, so we have a very good result. But for example, the buildings like hotel buildings, the rooftop is a lot of equipment on there. It's not the flat rooftop. So actually, we don't have a lot of area to paint on it. So we need to find what is really our client need. For example, for hotel group, what we will do, actually we also is learn from the client. Actually a lot of like compressed building, actually their cooling tower is upstairs. They're using they have condenser pipe, they have like chiller pipe. And what we are doing is to paint on the condenser pipe. So we have adopted feedback from the clients, and one of the project is apart to the Times Square condenser pipe. So actually we are learning, and we are willing to listen what they really want to integrate our technology into their issue. So the second thing is like we need to find the best business model. And also one of the recent product experience can share more. In these years, we have our new product because as I mentioned, we want to go to the B2C market. We want to increase our awareness of people understanding more about the passive radiative cooling. So we put our technology into the textile. At first, we want to our textile become famous. So we find those like good branding, like Uniqlo, Muji, Nike. They are really accepted. They really like our textile, like our fiber, love our yarn. But here is what we think at the very beginning. But when we go to approach it, we find that for those like the end, we call it end customer, the branding, they always want exclusive. So we need to change our business model because as mentioned before, our product want to apply in a very large scale or a city scale, or we want everyone to enjoy these technologies. If we go to this business model, maybe have some limitation. Maybe we just have one client. They can bring us a lot of revenue, but it's not in a global scale. So we directly change our business model. So far, we provide the yarn and provide the fiber from the beginning of the clothing manufacturer. We provide to a factory. So we are not looking for a very high margin revenue for the end product. For example, we sell the clothing and have a high margin revenue, but we don't do it in this way. We do it in the beginning. So what is the advantage for this? This can go to the quantity very, very quick. For example, we go to every factory and they will provide the yarn to every good branding. Eventually, the branding may earn a lot based on their branding itself. But from our side, maybe we earn less, but in this business model, we can like expand in really big quality. So I would like to say like article in these 2 years, like go to the market really, really quick, or you can see a lot of application in different industry. So two of the key points is like we listening. So we will do the product optimization. And second thing, we are really looking for a very good business model, not looking for a short-term revenue. We're looking for like global penetration. Yes.
Thank you for sharing. I will come back to you on more other case study, but I want to shift to another angle. When it comes to decarbonization, there's one key word is about scope-free decarbonization. It accounts for, according to Gartner studies, accounting to like 90% on, for corporate value chain. So shipping, early on, Anthony, you share about like how the IMO have a target to reach net zero by 2050, and this applied to Hong Kong as well. I want to invite Anthony to share a little bit more about your experience in Singapore. How do you see what are some enabler and blocker, and if we want to really put this happen in other green port cities like Hong Kong?
Okay. Based on my experience, so I think we need to consider about three things if we want to push the green ship. The first one is the technology. The second one is the finance. The last one is the policy. So for the technology, actually, we need to consider whether the technology is already mature enough to push it. The second one, the finance, is actually the ship owner, whether they can get profit from their operations. The last part is the policy, is that maybe Hong Kong can have a really clear pathway to go to the green port. So based on my experience in Singapore, I think the best pathways like this, the first green ship can use the biofuels or the green methanol. Because for the biofuels and the green methanol, actually the engine, the ship owner just only a little bit upgrade for their engines, and then it can use the old ones. So it will be much easier for the ship owner to accept these ways to push the green ship. And then also the government do not need to build up the additional bunker or electrical facilities for this. The second is the electrical craft or ships. For the electrical part, I think the new ship can use the electrical. And for electrical in China, actually last 5 years, already rapid growth for the electrical ship. And I think nowadays Singapore have already pushed it because they already see that during last 3 years, a lot of ships in China mainland, especially in Yangtze River and also the Canton River, the new ship all electrical. So I think the electrical part can be the second one. And the last part is for the hydrogen and ammonia. And this part is actually the technology for hydrogen and ammonia is not so well investigated, especially for the hydrogen storage and the ammonia storage. And also, I think hydrogen actually is the engine for the hydrogen and ammonia is not well developed. It's not very stable for the hydrogen engine. That's all. That's why I think the best path is first is the biodiesel or the green methanol. The second one can use the electrical one or maybe the hybrid electric. And the last one is the hydrogen and ammonia. And maybe hydrogen and ammonia is for 10 years later. I think maybe after 10 years, this technology will be well established. And for Hong Kong, I think the most important part is the pinpoint is in Singapore is that they do not have enough electricity there. So in Hong Kong, I think if we want to have the green port, the first part we need to have enough electricity and the charging point. A lot of the ship owner in Singapore, they do not want to change to the electrical one because no enough charging point. And I think the best part is that Singapore, the electricity is extremely high, and the diesel is much lower. Hong Kong, the electricity price also very high, but the diesel is even more higher. So I think if in Hong Kong, if we push the electrical harbor craft, I think it's maybe much easier than Singapore. And another one, I think we also need to have maybe issues on EOI for the bunkers, maybe the hydrogen or the ammonia. It's for maybe 5 or 10 years later. And I think only when we have enough bunker and the electricity power, and then we can push the green port. That's all.
Thank you so much, Anthony. You just highlight like some of the trade-off in using different fuel, and I think this is a very important conversation for Hong Kong as we want to really driving on the green port solution. So now, each of you mentioned about different incentive that you noticed that really helps scale up your solution. But what is one shift that you really want to see that we can scale this up in Hong Kong? Maybe it's from your experience, maybe some new technology you want to bring that in. I want to open the floor, maybe start with Owen, because you mentioned about the PPI. You talk about like how IoT devices can connect to different government buildings, but I know you have more to share. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if everyone believes there's more connected, more IoT sensor, and more parameter, then maybe more method to reduce power, the carbon, then maybe we're looking for 6G. I think everyone knows Elon Musk, the Starlink, right? But coming 6G, we are talking about there are lots of satellites above the sky. You can connect with your mobile device and sensor. So you just think about if everywhere can be connected, then maybe there's more startup company can think about a lot of solution to provide this one. So I'm looking for 6G. There's a very quick change on this one. Yeah.
Thank you, Owen. And maybe Yolanda, what do you think?
Yeah, so I think for the immersion cooling, the most important thing is to build a partnership together. So for Shell, we just received the warranty from Intel, and it's basically saying that everything in the every CPU from Intel into the Shell's immersion cooling, they can provide warranty. And we have also established a partnership with global server players, we have the integrator, we have the end users. So basically for us, we have already developed quite some POC projects globally in Houston, in Bangalore, and also in Germany, and also in China. So for us, we are trying to make this simpler because for the people who are not very familiar with the immersion cooling, they will feel this is a bit complicated in terms of operation and also maintenance, but they do not see the benefits. So we are developing a very simple package for our customer. They can just try with us, and we have also developing the maintenance equipment, including cleaning machine, maintenance machine, and the cleaning oil, everything to make it very simple, easier to deployment. So for us, we really want to encourage our industry partners to join us to show the benefits and live demonstration of the benefit to our customer.
Thank you, Yolanda. I have one quick question. You talked about a POE earlier. Do you see there's any city or location you work with have very strict regulation on data center design or sustainability that really helps drive that conversation?
Yeah, I think for currently with the increasing of the computing power, so the big cities, they usually have this kind of problem. Which according to our customer, they are saying that for US, China, Japan, Southeast Asia, this could be some of the places they would prefer to adopt this kind of new technology because of the increasing, very big amount increasing of the computing power. Yeah, so I think this could be the cities they will start first, but in terms of the expensive energy, just like Anthony mentioned, Hong Kong is also quite expensive of energy. So we are trying to kind of using our technology to reducing the electricity, and even with that kind of amount saving, it's well able to cover the amount you paid for this kind of technology shift.
Thank you. I have a question for Ivan. Earlier on, you talked about two takeaways, like being adaptive, listen to different customer need, and also finding the right business model. What else besides the internal condition? What are the external conditions that help drive the solution for I2Go?
Okay, from a perspective, I think external, as mentioned, for a good partner is also very important. For example, you can thinking, we are all on the same boat, we are all on the same goal. For example, for the Hong Kong 203 or the action plan is we want to cut the absolute carbon emission is about 26% to 36%. It's a really good target, and I believe it is difficult to do with it within one technologies. For example, our painting, we also have our limitation. We cannot be an interior painting, and we must be the exterior to facing the sunlight. So from a perspective, finding a good partner, or in Hong Kong, we're integrating our technology together. Our printing can cooperate with Everbright in those hydrogen container or those electricity ports. And with immersion cooling, we can go to those condenser pipe and go to those AC system. And then HKT can be our very good the application location, the buildings. And then we gather our old technology together and go to the global. I'm thinking because every technology is difficult to fulfill a very high amount of carbon emission. But together, we can achieve it. Yes.
Thank you, Ivan. We understand the need of ecosystem partnership. Anthony, do you echo the same sentiment, or do you have other idea on how to scale up, the technology?
Actually, based on my experience, cooperation is very important because for China Everbright environment, we have no technology on the electrical vessel, something like this. So I just looking for the university in China mainland and the companies in China mainland, collaborate with them. And because we are a state-owned company, so Singapore government believes us more. So I think cooperation is the first. And second one, I think technology actually is important. But one thing more important is how to handle the solution for the users. Because when I doing my project in Singapore, the solution, not just the technology part, but also the financial part. The ship owner, most of the ship owner is from SME. They do not have such cash flow to buy a new boat. So we need to have, maybe have some new idea for them. And maybe we will, for example, we pay the ship and rent for them, something like this. So I think the whole package, technology is an important part, but the whole package, including the finance part and the other support, I think is altogether is the most important one.
Thank you so much, Anthony. What you just mentioned is having a comprehensive plan, right? I think this is a good preparation for our discussion on what to prepare for the upcoming climate action plan for Hong Kong. And I hope the BEC team is taking notes on some good ideas. I know we have around some minutes left. I want to open the floor and see if there's any question. Feel free to ask your question if you have, or online audience. Yes, Edwin.
Thank you. Edwin now from the Green Life. I would like to ask Yolanda, is the cooling fluid, the lifespan, is it very long lifespan or need to renew every several years?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Thank you for that. Yeah. So for our cooling fluids, I just want to highlight our base oil is from Qatar, and we will ship the base oil to our Hong Kong plant here, located in Chen Yi. That help us to make the final product, then hand it over to our domestic customers. So it's it's made in Hong Kong product. And in terms of the service life, I'm talking about two. One is the service life of our server, the IT equipment itself. So with our immersion cooling technology, the service life of our server and our electronic components can be extended from currently it's 5 years, which was warranted by the server OEM. It's 5 years. We can, based on our real research, it can be extended to 8 years, at least 8 years. And for our own fluid itself, which was warranted by Intel, we are able to use, our lab shows it can use above 10 years, based on our current research. Yeah.
Thank you. So we have not much time left. I'm welcome to come to our panelists for more questions afterward. So I want to say thank you to BEC again for having this panel. Earlier on in the COP29 BEC event, we got Professor Deborah Roberts to talk about what's for a city to think about when it comes to climate crisis. We need to think about how to mitigate for 1.5. We need to adopt for the 2 degree. And then we need to build resilience for 3 degree. That's the reality we're in. And every year, we need to think about how we can really speed up, scale up. I understand today we have a range of solutions. We hear from Anthony talk about the case study from Singapore on how to, what are some conditions, policy, financial incentive, to really build a holistic plan in order to build a green port city in Hong Kong. For Yolanda, talk about how the lack of education or some incentive, maybe to understand the needs to do data center sustainability. Especially with the emergence of AI, we really need to think about the more we use DeepSeek or Copilot, we really need to think about how we can offset our emission as well, right? And for Owen, you share about different new technology of 6G on how to really connect different types of building, how we can be a smarter buildings that can help the decarbonization as well. And for Ivan, it's very exciting to hear your application on i2Cool painting, and not just paint, for different types of product, to scale up a Hong Kong startup to sell this solution all around the world. I want to invite all of you to give a round of applause for this esteemed panel. Thank you.
For leading such an interactive discussion. And with the green technologies and innovative solutions, it is hoped that we'll reach to this vision of a sustainable and green and smart city. So may I invite all of you just to proceed to the stage and to take a group photo. Thank you to all of you, and please take the seats.